got?
How we doing?
Pretty good.
What have just kind of been your impressions of the pads?
Say it again.
What have just been your opening impressions?
Opening impressions. I would say that, I think we don't really ever have a day one anymore. We do so much in the off season. So it's just a continuation of spring into summer. And really, I think, if anything, we've had a great summer. I think the guys have gotten bigger, stronger, faster. Now their job is to apply that to the game, take those new either acquired skills or exposed talent, I like to say, and now implement it to your production on the field. So we've had a good summer, and now we're just making sure we're getting locked in on not just lifting weights, but maintaining our bodies and really getting really good at execution, competition, and developing the foundation for a great offense.
Brian, last week, Ryan said that one of the most important things for you is your relationship with the quarterbacks. How have you seen that progress as you guys have gotten deeper into the playbook and you guys are getting ready to install a game plan?
Yeah, it's been great. I think the dialogue that all started, really more in the spring to continue that into the summer, a good amount, but then to get into fall camp and really be more hands-on has been enjoyable. Having opportunities to play some, pool basketball with some of these guys and let them get competitive and they can feel me get competitive. I think, again, I'm not in a world of trying to force anything, just let it happen organically. But I think, it's been really positive so far. I like to think that, but never going to assume. And we got a great room, so it's an easy process to be involved with those guys.
Brian, I know it's hard to fully evaluate running backs, but since Turbo has been here, what have your thoughts been?
Yeah, I think Turbo, he's learning right now. I mean, he's learning, number one, who we are and how we operate. I mean, not that he's defiant by any means, but just there's a time aspect that has to take place. And anytime you kind of come in the summer, there's always just a curveball. It takes a little bit of time that the winter and the spring can help you get acclimated to, that you don't get exposed to. But no, he's very willing. He's hardworking. I'm sure he's studying at a high level, but he's getting acclimated to first, how we do things before he really knows kind of what he's doing, right? So, but great personality, good energy. I'm excited to have him here.
Brandon has been on the cusp. He's obviously contributed. Now we have this real opportunity to start. What have you seen from him? What do you expect from him this year? What's his potential?
Yeah, I think, like everybody, the ceilings, is the clouds. There really is no ceiling. It's only what he limits himself to. But I expect to see a great leader. I expect a guy that did everything he did last year, but then some, add more to it. He's definitely a guy that can carry a lot of roles and do a lot of things, but you can't let the execution slip because you can do a lot of things, I wouldn't say in an average way, but you do too many things and you're not an expert at something. So he's got to make sure that we stay sharp that way. But I expect him to be a leader. I expect him to be, really a person that pushes our culture and allows our culture to grow and bring guys along. Some guys take care of themselves. Some guys can take care of themselves and bring guys along. I expect Brandon to be one of those guys, and he's shown so far that not only is he capable, but he really wants to be that guy. So, but body of work over time will ultimately tell us.
Brian, we had yesterday, Coach Day had mentioned that Austin Saraville was Iron Buckeye again. Just what have you seen from him this offseason, and how soon did he kind of flip that switch where you saw, like, all right, this guy's legit about what he wants to do in 2025 to build off of last season?
Yeah, I think Austin's always had a good demeanor about him, and I think he's elevated that even more. I think it feels like there's been a lot of belief that he's instilled in himself, just seeing himself do that, over time. And, really he's just been really impressive. He's one of those guys, in my opinion, that you just don't talk about a lot because he does everything right, and when you're playing a line, you're always at the point of attack. So it's easy to get exposed. If people are talking about you a lot, it's usually not a good thing. And Austin is the complete opposite. So we'll make sure to identify all these great things he's doing, but he just continually does his job at a high level. And, I expect that to continue. I expect that to develop more and more into a leadership role, which we already feel, and be a mainstay in bringing along that O-line group, which we're excited about. So Austin's a big part of that.
Brian, I think it was around this time last year when people were talking about Brian being such a big leader behind the scenes. And I know he didn't play maybe starter snaps last year, but how important was he to just what you wanted that room, the chemistry to be, and how much growth have you seen from him?
Yeah, Brandon's always been a big part of our room, receiver-wise, culturally. He drives it. He helps run it. Carnell has taken a big role in that as well this year. Frankly, all those guys are stepping up. I mean, Carnell, JJ, David Adolph, these guys have made progressions. But from a leadership standpoint, those guys are really trying to take over with BI being, at the forefront of that. So I expect that, and that's good. And he holds himself to a high standard, but I want him to start bringing even more and more guys along in that same fashion.
Brian, what's the best thing that Jeremiah does on the plays, the reps, where he doesn't have the ball in his hands?
I think that best thing Jeremiah does is just he just always wants to learn. So, as a coach, you can't baby him. You can't put him on a pedestal. He does not want that. So, he being held accountable. There have been opportunities to maybe finish more without the ball in your hands, turn upfield. I identify it and he applies it. I'm not going to say there's one individual thing when the ball's not in his hands. I think just overall for him, he's always trying to learn. He's always trying to contribute, whether he's, he knows there's a decoy-ish mentality or a blocking mentality because he's a big guy or whatever that role is. He just loves learning the why and then applying it in that role in that play. Yeah.
We heard last week Coach Day talking about Carnell maybe taking the biggest strides out of anyone in terms of leadership this offseason. Did you guys have to push him at all? Or was that all kind of him naturally kind of stepping into that role?
No, it's more him for sure. There's probably a conversation that was had, obviously, that, we know you're capable of this. Why not be this guy? Whatever those conversations are between myself and Coach Mick and Coach Day. But ultimately, players apply. Players choose to do things. We can recommend and suggest all we want, but ultimately the players are responsible for making plays and making changes. So, yeah, I would agree with Coach. I mean, he's made huge strides. I love him for it. He's the right kind of guy for it. He's the right kind of role. Really no BS kind of guy. And a lot of guys have a lot of respect for him. So, doing a great job. Absolutely love it. I'm glad those conversations that I had were received, and I'm glad to see he's really taking the reins of it and ran with it. Yep. Yeah, there's always a chance. I mean, there's so many reps being had in practice, and you're either, playing at the level of the guys that are starting or you're not. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, right? So if you can match, the execution level and or better or whatever, I mean, ultimately the film tells you who should be on the field on Saturdays and at what point in the game, and whether it be situationally or not. And guys maximizing those rep opportunities ultimately dictates how that looks, right? So we've got lots of reps early in spring. I mean, we got 2 fields going. We got tons of reps happening. And more times than not, it kind of, shows itself. I view that, frankly, every year. It's the same opportunity, but those guys just have to do it. And, we love defining roles, but guys define roles, and they earn roles. And if you keep it that way, ultimately the respect in your room and in your position room on your team should stay true. And so a lot of competition right now, a lot of good stuff happening. We're just going to try to see who does it more consistently over time.
Every time that we've talked to you about Allen, it seems like it's been he had to catch up because of the not enrolled early. Past that with him, and where have you seen him take the biggest step in his development since the spring when you last saw him?
Yeah, I think him going through his first spring really helped him. First winter really helped him. Being grounded for a summer, instead of showing up and having acclimation for a month before you actually get into it. I mean, all of those things, almost makes you feel like you're in your third year. Like for Jeremiah or these young guys that came in this year to come in January, by the time you get to your second year, you almost feel like it's your third year because you've worked with Coach Mick, you've had a spring, you've had a summer, you've had a fall camp, you've had a fall season, and you're like, gosh, it's only my second year. I would say when you come in June, it's still all new until you get back to June. And so that's what Milan experienced. Milan now, I mean, he fully understands. Like when you're there, you don't understand it. I'm good. Well, you don't realize it. So, but yes, I mean, to answer your question long-windedly, I'd say that Milan's in a really good spot. He's put himself in a position to compete for getting on the field, whether it be offensively or special teams. I expect him to earn roles in special teams even before you even get on offense. That's how we're built here, right? Defensively and offensively. If you can't get on special teams, I don't know how you expect to play offense and defense. So, the guys on special teams are the best football players, period. So those guys, I like to see Milan in that light, but obviously he had a great spring. He's growing, and I want to see him keep building on what he's doing. We don't want to have step backs. I know he's not going to. I'm just saying the progression he's on is really good.
Brian, what kind of asset is Tyler Bowen in the last couple of months?
Yeah, really enjoyed getting to know Tyler. I think really highly of his football IQ and his personality and how he, commands with his room and his guys and how he builds relationships. The overall, having Tyler in the building has been really a great honor, a great situation.
Brian, what stands out? What has stood out about Julian's saves so far?
I mean, I can't say that anything. Like it's only day 2, so we're gonna see about the body of work. These guys have, I think, done a pretty good job of making the plays they're supposed to make, and then we'll go from there. It's just day 1, day 2 install. We're looking at the body of work for guys to separate themselves, not just the day-to-day.
With the quarterbacks, though, just kind of in general, with Lincoln, with Julian, with everybody, what are you looking to see first day, second day, third day in camp? So
Consistency. What you do most often is exactly who you are. So whether you consistently make the play, consistently communicate, consistently loud, consistently have energy, consistently prepare well, whatever that is, the consistency level of anybody ultimately dictates your identity. So we're chasing that. It's too early right now to speak past that, but we're going to keep building.
Coach Day talked yesterday about how important the cadence is with the quarterbacks and what he's looking for there. Have you seen both those guys deliver what you're looking for in terms of cadence?
Yeah, they're doing a good job. They're going with it, and they understand it's a weapon.
Brian, let's just talk about all the receiving the quarterbacks out to California and working out there and bonding. You have a group that does that and have that time to bond together. What can that do for the offense?
Yeah, I think anytime you can work together, guys are getting a feel for each other. Not only just, he throws the ball like this. It's more about the camaraderie. He has my back. More than anything, you can't challenge a relationship if you don't have a relationship. So you can't challenge a guy. You can't be at a guy. You can't get, push a guy unless the relationship is built first. So the faster you get the relationship built, the quicker you can get to uncomfortable conversations, and then ultimately you grow. So building the foundation is still number one, and those guys doing that on their own is a good sign.
From your experience as a player, when you're able to kind of get away, obviously you work here the most, when you're able to get away and kind of be together and kind of push each other in that sense, how much does that help build relationships?
I mean, I don't know how much you're pushing each other when you're on your own. I mean, they're not. I'm not. When they're on their own, they're going to do it on their own time, and so it feels there's a little bit more ownership, I think, at times when you do stuff like that. But again, ultimately, it's just the bond building.
Is that new? Your tattoo, or that's not noticed before?
What's that?
Tattoo.
Yep.
Is it new?
What's new?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah. It wasn't there in January,
Okay. All right.
but it's August now, so I don't know.
Is there an explanation, or what's the meaning of it?
Oh yeah, it's all personal. I'm not getting into my tattoos.
I guess I'll ask you.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about the pool basketball and stuff.
Yep.
That seems like a minuscule off-season fun thing.
Yep.
What can you learn about a guy?
Oh, lots. It was awesome. We're playing pool basketball and we're literally trying to drown each other to win. Like, we didn't care, right? I mean, there was no fouls. We just want to know who could execute and make the plays, coaches included. And literally when I say, like, nothing was off limits, there was nothing off limits. So, the guys kind of who show up, the guys that compete, the guys, all that stuff, right? I mean, my poor son, he gets evaluated on everything he does. It doesn't matter, and every coach is probably that way. But anytime you're around people, man, it's just human nature if you're wired that right. But it was a lot of fun.
Who's the best player of the guys in the locker room? Who's the best player when you guys go to
Pool basketball? I mean, it's not real basketball.
Yeah, but like athleticism, drive.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But, like, think of our group. I mean, there was a threesome that was pretty good that went on a little run there. But then me, JJ, and I forget who else beat them.
You gave yourself JJ?
No, I did not. We lost the first time. I forget who it was. But it was Carnell, it was BI, and it was Lincoln. Those three we could not. They went for a run, a good 7 or 8 in a row. We had some bad turnovers on our first game. We were identified as their toughest competition. Got a chance to play them again, but it was like their 8th game, and we dominated. So.
I've heard a lot about Lincoln's athleticism. Like, how much does it show up in everything? It seems like this team does golf, baseball, pool, basketball. Like, do you see it everywhere?
Yeah, he's just a competitor. I think that's the biggest thing that comes off on Link, and it's enjoyable doing sports with him when he's on your side.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.